In this video series, we are going to learn a basic example of MERN stack. What is MERN? MERN is basically MongoDB, Express, React and Node. We'll divide this into maybe 2 or 3 videos so you can understand the whole thing very easily. So basically, we'll start now. We'll create 2 folders. One is server, one is client. Now in server, basically we'll install Express, Node and MongoDB. So basically we work for backend side, and in client we'll install React, which will work as a client side or front end. So now in first video we'll see the server portion of this, and what I'm assuming over here, you have installed the node on your machine. So here basically on a server side we'll start something like this. First go to the terminal and write down npm init -y, which will initialize your this server side coding, which has one package.json. Now few things you need to install here. So what you need to install? You need to install npm I. One is Express, Mongoose, right? Mongoose. Then you need to use ports, which is used for your communication with client and server, and node 1. Right? So basically just we need to put a space over here. So these are the 4 things you need to install: Express, Mongoose, Course and node 1. You just press enter, which will install this thing. It may take 1 or 2 minutes, so just we'll wait for that. Okay, so it is installed. Just check this here in your package.json. You can check all these things. So for example, you can see the dependencies: Course, Express, Mongoose and node 1. So these are the basic thing required to create your server side application. We are basically creating one small registration kind of thing, student registration thing, which will do the insert, update, delete and display. But basically this video is for insert only, so that you can understand. We'll see the APIs for everything: insert, update, delete, display. But for React side, we'll just see the insertion and display of that records. Okay, so now here what we can do, we'll start this basically. So here we'll write down first server.js. So I'll just create one file, server.js. Now first I'll just make it little bit small so you can see this thing clearly. Okay, so now here we'll start with, say for example, constant express equal to require into this express. Okay. So first we have created the object of this express, and for Mongoose, const equal to require Mongoose. Okay. Now we create object of this express, so const app equal to express. Okay. After that, what we need to add, say for example we include course also, so we'll just write down const course equal to require course. Now we need to connect our database server, so we can write down something like this: mongoose dot connect. Into bracket I need to write down something like this, that is MongoDB colon localhost. Now by default port number is 27. Please remember this thing, 27017, and then my database name, that is, say for example, student. You can omit this also. By default it can take, but we'll write down the database name also. Okay. So these are the basic things, and then what we can do, we'll listen this app. So app dot listen, sorry, listen into bracket. We need to write down the port number. Say for example I write down here 5000. Then maybe call one anonymous function where I can write down console.log. Say for example I write down server is running. So basically we have created a basic structure using all this thing. Okay. Now apart from this basic structure, we need to add few things. So basically we are connecting with server, so what I can do here, we'll write down some middlewares. Say for example app.use into bracket express.json. okay, and we also use the codes also, so app.use into bracket codes. These are the basic middleware. JSON means basically it will create a JSON, or it will format your data into JSON, and codes is communication between your client and server. This codes is required. So this is my basic structure of my server.js. Now basically try to understand, when we create any backend application, we need three things. One is server.js, then we need some routes. With the help of this route only we try to create URLs which will communicate with our client, and it will perform the task. Apart from this route, we need models also. Basically model is what? Model is schema, where you write down your table or collection schema, right? Because we are using NoSQL, so we cannot say table, but it's just collection. So collection schema also we need to create. So first we'll create a collection schema. So here what I can do, I'll just create one folder. The folder name is models, and inside this model we'll write down, say for example, student underscore model.js. okay, so my schema page is ready. Try to understand, this is the basic structure that we are talking about right now. So this structure is required to create everything. So we'll write down now. Say for example, first you need mongoose equal to require mongoose, sorry. Okay, after that we need to create a schema for this. So I'll just create a schema. Say for example const, we'll do the sign up of students. So I'll just write down sign up equal to new mongoose dot schema, right? And in the schema we'll write down the schema, right? Something like this. So say for example we can write down something like this: name colon, inside this I will write down few things. Say for example my data type is what? String. okay, then we'll write down, say for example, require, or sorry, required, not require, equal to true. okay, so this is a name. Now next is, say for example, I will write down email. So I will write down email for this. I'll just copy this now. I mean, it's same, so I'll just copy this here. Okay. And then email, then say for example phone, same. So I'll just copy this. After phone, say for example we can take username. I'll just write down this username also, and password. Right now I'm not going into any complexity, so I'm writing simple password as a string, but later on maybe we'll see the complex portion of this. And by default registration date or sign in date I can use. So I will write down sign_date. Then I will write down something like this. Here my type is, say for example date, and I can put a default value over here. Right? Default value, I hope you understand what is default value. Because if you don't insert this value, then it will take some default value. Here I will write down, say for example date dot now. So it will take a current value over here. So this basically my schema is ready. So this is my kind of table, you can say, but I need to export it. Whatever you create here in JS, first you need to export it. So I will just write down module dot exports equal to mongoose dot model. Into bracket you can write down something like this. Just write down here. So it will be student underscore master, and I need to write down my schema name also. My schema name is sign up. Even third value also you can pass, because by default it will take s before the student underscore masters, but if you just want to give a student master, then just write down the third name also, student master. But I'm not going into detail of that thing, you can read it if you want. So basically my model is ready. Okay, now we'll go to the routes, right? Third, as I told you. So what I need to do now, I need to create one folder, not inside this model obviously. Okay, server, and in server we create one folder name is, say for example routes, routes, and inside this routes folder I will create one file name is student underscore route.js. Okay, so this is basically my file where I will write down all the routes. So I will start from here. Here also you need to write down, say for example you need to require express Another thing is required, say for example we need to create route, right? So we need to create object of that route. So const router equal to express.router, and we need to call our model also. So I'll just write down a model also. I'll just call model also, say for example sign up info equal to require. From model I need to call, so I will just write down // models / student model. So I have imported this also. Now first we create for our insert data into our database. So basically route, you know that route is a post, get, delete, put. There are so many routes available. You can go through these routes, but basically 99% we are using this 4 only. get post, put and delete. So first we'll write down for post, so I will just write down route this object dot, say for example first is post, into bracket first is my path that I need to write down, so I just write down here, say for example sign up or sign up, right? Then I need to pass an anonymous function, so I will write down here there are two parameters required, one is request and one is response, right? What request will do, whatever you send to the server, that is request, and whatever data that you are getting from server, that is called response from a server. Request means you are sending a request, sending a data to your server. Okay, so now here we need to write down our insert data to our database or our table. So I will just write down something like const sign up entry. I'm just writing a full name so you can easily understand the thing. Our object is sign up info. Into bracket I need to write down something like this. Here I will write down, say for example name equal to, now you are taking values from your request, so request dot body dot my name. From where I'm taking this name, say for example, try to understand, from models we have given a name called this one, see this name, email, phone, it should be same as that, so I'm just using that, so name, right? Then we write down, say for example email colon request dot body dot email, then phone colon request dot body dot phone, sorry. Then our username equal to request dot body dot username, and password equal to request dot body dot password. Okay, we are not sending that date because by default it will take some values, right, as I told you previously, so we don't have to go into that. So after this, what you need to do, here you need to write down, say for example sign up entry dot save method of MongoDB, which will insert my data, and this data I need to send in asynchronous manner, so I'll just write down here async, right? This way this will save my data. Basically try to understand, one is saving a data, what kind of API that you can create. One is insert a data, say for example, then you will write down, say for example display all records, right? Okay, next, after insert display all records, what you can do instead, one is, say for example, you will write down one record or one value you need. Say for example, we write down API like get data by suppose ID, right? Or other API that you can create is say for example, next is update your data, right? Then you can, next is, say for example delete data. So these are some APIs that you can create, right? Okay. So I'll just write down one more here, that is for display data. So for display data, what you need to do, say for example router method dot get here I'm using get. I'll just create one display or disk, you can say, student, right? Then I will write down this, what it will require: request and response, that function, anonymous function. And here you need to write down, say for example, constant data equal to our schema name or schema object, that is dot find. Find is basically select star from table name kind of thing, right? And I do send to this to our client as a response. So I just write down response dot JSON, into bracket I will just write down data. Now, but here again, as I told you previously, you need to use asynchronous method. So I just write down async here, and here I will write down await. So this way I can send this data. Now we need to use these routes first, right? So for using these routes, say for example, what we can do, I'll just go to the server.js first, because we have written few things but we have not used that routes, right? So first I need to write down that. So what I will write down here, after this, say for example, I will write down const routes stud equal to whatever name that you want to give, you can give require, into bracket I will write down dot slash route slash student route. Okay, so I have used that. Now we need to use this also as a middleware. So after this pose, I will write down something like this: app.use, into bracket I will write down, say for example here, say for example I will write down student, or you can put a blank also if you want, but just to explain you this, and I will write down my route name, that is route stud. So I'm using this. So what I did here, I have required first my router and then I'm using as a middleware. So now if I want to use, say for example, this route, insert data, say for example sign up, then what I need to write down, I need to write down something like this. Try to understand. I'm just writing here just to explain you, or I can open this one. Say for example here I can write down, say for example localhost colon slash slash, sorry, not slash slash, you need to write down localhost colon 5000 slash slash or slash, right? Then what do you need to write down? First is student, because that student we are writing over here, student, and then we are writing this sign up. So what I will write down here, slash sign up, this way, right? So basically this is my root route. From that only we are accessing this sign up maybe. Then another one is this display all data, that is our this student. So for that what I need to write down, say for example I need to write down here, I need to write down this student, something like this. Okay, so this way we can use this. Now we'll see how we can transfer this data, or first we need to check these APIs. So for checking this API, what I can do, see what I did, I have installed one thing, that is just React client or something. Just give me 1 minute. So I'll just find out that. yeah, REST client, not React client, REST client, which you can use for your API checking. So what I will do, I will just create one file here. Say for example, not in modules here. I'll just create one file. Say for example, test dot test, whatever name that you want to give. Say for example, here write down cost, and here I will write down, say for example, http:// localhost 5000 / you can see over here what we have written, student. So I will just write down student slash our you can go to route and the name is sign up. So I'll just write down here sign up. Okay, so here in this sign up, this is my page. Right now you can write down another also, but for that you need at least 3 this hash to separate the values. Say for example cat, I will write down http:// localhost 5000 / what we have written there. Over there we have written, say for example, this student. So I'll just write down this student. Okay, so this is what our API that we have written. Now in this REST client, just go to the example, you can find out this thing. Say for example, if I want to insert my record, so what I will write down here, say for example, you can write down this thing, just copy from that. Okay, so I want to insert my data, right? What are the things that I have to insert? Name, then next is email, phone. So I'll just write down here name, email, then I will write down phone. I just need to remove this. Okay, phone. Then next is what? Phone, then username and password. So I will just write down username and password. Okay, here I will write down, say for example, test. Here I will write down test@test.com. Phone number is say 909090 and value. My username is test and my password is test123, say for example. Okay, so now here this is what the thing is. Okay, now we need to test this, but before, okay, for that I'm using here compass. So I'll just first I need to connect it. So I'll just use open a compass and I'll just connect. So now my database is connected. So what I need to do now, I need to check my code whether it's working or not. So when you just see this, when you write down post or get, one option is available here, send request. So I'll just click on that and we'll check whether it's working or not. So I'll click on send request. The connection was rejected either by service or this. So what is the problem? Here we have not started our this. So I will just write down node that is server.js. still it is giving us an error. So we'll check what kind of error that we are getting. Okay, basically what we did, we forgot the one thing, that is we forget to export this thing. So right, so what we need to write down here, basically we need to write down something like this. Module dot exports equal to router. I'll save this. Again we'll try to run this. Okay, now my server is running now, so we'll again try this, okay, whether this will work or not. Or okay, so I'll just send a request. When I send the request, I'll just check whether that student folder, yeah, you can see the student database is ready with me. Student master is also ready with me. And you can see some data over here. Data is there, so by default some data was there. So I just want to check my last data. You can see this last data. So what we can do here, and now we'll check this record whether this is working or not. So I'll just click on send request. When I click on send request, I'll just go to my this database compass and I just refresh this. You can see my student database is ready, and inside, sorry, cancel. In student masters, if you can see, my record is there. Okay. So now, my record is there with me. Now if I want to check this, then I also click on this and I will check whether data is coming or not. But you can see over here 2000, okay, so this is fine, and you can see this one record with me, correct? So now say for example if I add a second record here, I will write down, say for example just I'm entering some record, say for example, and I'll save this. And now what I will do, I will send this request. So I'll send that record. Now I will check with refresh whether second record is there or not. You can see over here. Or another option is what? Simply just go to the send request, click on that, and you can see there are two records with me. So this way you can write down this simple thing, okay, how you can connect with your database using Express. Basically what we did, we created a server.js where we have written this, we have required few things. We created an object of Express, then we required a route that create. Basically I told you basic structure is your server.js models where you write down your schema, and routes where you write down your routes. Then you are connecting your database, make sure your port number is 27017, then your database name, then you are calling this JSON, use middleware because you are transferring your data in core case of JSON, and cores will manage the server and client communication. Why? Because your server is running on different ports, your client is running on different ports, but still it should work. For that this cores is important, and you have written a middleware which will use your route, and then you are listening to this. Okay. So after that you are creating a model which is our kind of table, you can say, in case of SQL, where you have name, email, phone number, username, and sign up date which is default, and by make sure you export this thing. Okay. After that you will create a route which is something like this, where you require Express, then you create object of router express.router, then you are calling your schema and you are putting in one variable, a constant, then you are writing for insert, I am using post sign up async, and you are writing all the things. like your request should be request.body.name and all the values, and then you are using a save method of MongoDB which will save your records into your database. And for display I'm using get router.get a path async request and response, and here I'm writing signup.find, which is similar to select star from table name. Then I'm transferring my data in form of JSON. Correct. So basically this way we can write down for ID, update also, delete also, and make sure this thing, okay, you need to export this thing, right? This is important. Okay, and one more thing in a server, that we have written this app.uStudent and router. So basically your path is something like this: localhost :5000, then this student, then your path name which is from router display student or sign up. So this way this server side portion will work. After in next lecture or next video we'll see how you can connect with your client, that is a front end side, using React, and we'll try to insert this data via React.